So, but we certainly, and this was maybe a problem for Holland in the 60s, but we certainly don't associate Holland with oil or that problem even. And I think there are countries which are associated with that problem. Russia would arguably be one. Saudi Arabia, but Sweden never experienced that kind of problem. Maybe, well, there are many reasons. Raw materials was perhaps a big part of our exports in medieval times, but since we have gradually managed to add value and export ever more refined products, and I think I described this historic development in my speech. So I see this risk as exceedingly small. Actually, the trend in Sweden is rather that GDP tends to develop without additional need for resources. A large part of our GDP, I think Sweden doesn't consume more electric energy now than it did 10 years ago. We have actually a problem with too much electric energy production capacity. We are trying to make the Germans buy our electric energy, but there are transmissions problems, and the Germans have rather a lot of electric energy too. So you have, and that's sort of happy news. There used to be the situation that we were afraid that we would run out of energy as GDP increased, but there seems to be an opposite trend at work, whereby more and more value added is based on information technology and internet and things communicating with other things, and it doesn't always require more energy or more raw materials even. Actually, you may be able to use less. But this is Sweden. I mean, the global picture is different. But I'm speaking for Sweden. Thank you.
And Kimmo, I don't know if you have anything to add from a Finnish perspective.
Well, I think our situation may be a little bit different than many other countries, in the sense that because of a long-term planning and systematic development of the mining cluster, we have actually become one of the most important mining technology hubs in the world. Mm-hmm. And nowadays there are some 200 mining technology and service providers in Finland. And so that's one thing, but I think as there is technological development in mines and maybe less need for a workforce, of course the question comes, what will the people do then? And therefore also I think the raising of the level of added value is a key question also in Finland, and that's something that we have tried to address by launching a program called Batteries from Finland. And that's the idea is that we would like to become a global leader in the battery sector, for example. And that's basically because we have a significant expertise in whole battery value chain, mining industry, battery raw materials, refinement technologies and services relevant to battery production and usage, as well as charging technology and recycling. And therefore we would really like to become or develop a whole battery ecosystem. But if I may still add one thing, I think here comes also the question of environment, and battery recycling, I think, will become a major challenge in the future. So that's why we have also decided to establish a so-called BAT cycle, which is a consortium comprising of universities, research centers, and companies and cities, to create a sort of a domestic battery metals ecosystem that follows the principles of circular economy.
Absolutely. One final question, as we're running out of time, which I was going to build on actually the point that you made there, and ask Sian about economic diversification and new industries that flow from mining. And in the UK, I think we've undergone a decline in the mining industry, albeit now and again there are new mining projects coming along. But the UK has been successful in exporting the services gained from 200 years learned through the mining industry. If you anything to add to that?
Is this the working microphone? I'm not sure I've got much to add on that. I mean, I would like to I think it's related actually to the previous questions you've put about how to sort of avoid having your economy too focused in one area, and also about the attractiveness of, I think all these questions are linked, the attractiveness of the climate you're making. And I think if you are creating the right sort of business environment, if you're creating the right educational climate, if you're skilling your investing in your young people and your skills, if you're investing in the sustainability of your industry, these are absolutely going to be skills, technologies, experience that can be shared and should be shared as we're all sharing them today. But I think also the points I would just like to underline on the previous questions are on the business environment, and it's the importance of having that robust governance, that robust and joined up policy framework. It's about having clear rights and responsibilities. It's about it's not all about extraction. It's about education. It's about regulation. It's about policies. And it's about the predictability of the environment you're working in, and the transparency of the business environment. So excuse me, I'm losing my voice again. In terms of our own experience, yes, we have been through your industry in our country has been through significant transformations. It's faced significant challenges, whether those are the economic and social challenges of traditional mining communities that have had to, as our mining industry had to transform in the 1980s, and people had to learn new skills. Our regions, we had to find new ways of developing the economies of our regions. We've got a lot of experience there. Some of it, yes, some of it's been, of course it's been quite painful. It's transformation and change can be very painful for communities when you're very dependent. Again, this brings us almost to the resource question. It underlines the importance of having diverse economies, diverse and flexible skills. And yes, the environment. We've had to learn a lot about protecting and repairing our environment. We were talking beforehand a little bit about how I mentioned the area my mother came from, where Geraint is from. Massive transformation of the environment, which I remember seeing as a child. Huge, great slag heaps. I'm sure somebody can translate that, but the great mountainous piles of waste from the coal mining industry, and then how the region had to go through the whole process of stabilizing and greening. There's a great book which some of you will know, called How Green Was My Valley? And of course, the green valleys of Wales became less green with the coal mining industry, but there's been enormous investment and enormous effort in re-greening those valleys. And so yes, there's a lot that we can share from the experiences we've gone through, but I don't pretend to be a technological expert on the processes that you do that, but I'm sure there are others in the room who can help with that. But thank you.
Thank you. And certainly I think the industry is becoming increasingly aware of the importance of economic diversification, and some great examples touched on there, including batteries from Finland. So I think, I don't know where Jagda is, but I think we've actually overrun a little bit. I'm so sorry, but we did have a technological glitch. Talking of technology. Okay, so...
I will just say a couple of words.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Geraint, thank you very much for this lovely panel. Your Excellencies, my deepest apologies for the technical issue, especially to the UK ambassador, because ladies, first time with us here, and it was really my pleasure to welcome for the first time, and I'm very, very sorry that this happened during the panel. And now actually I would love to invite you to a coffee break, because it will be now, so that we resolve this problem, technical problems. So now we have a half an hour coffee break in the next room, and after that we will continue with the keynote speeches of Mr. Branko Zečević and Ms. Mirjana Dončić-Beton. Thank you very much, Geraint. It was a lovely panel. And Your Excellencies, it was our pleasure to welcome you again this year. And UK Ambassador for the first time this year, and Ambassador of Sweden also for the first time this year. Thank you very much.